The person that even saved me that day was my brother. That's why I said it is first you, then the audience. My passion. I love this thing that I do. I love it to die. I remember when I had an opportunity to work in CBN, I turned it down.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome to Brandwise Marketing Consultancy. I said that I promised that I was going to make a presentation before the interview, but then we had some technical issues and I had to jump into the interview straight with Precious Emehelu, our guest speaker. So right now I'll be presenting and then I'll merge it with the video and put it out there for it to bless you. Talking about me, my name is Azariah Olanrewaju, and I'm an entrepreneur and a musician. And these are the current products I have out there. Brandwise is a new company that we just started, and we're pushing it as much as we can. I have a song out there which is Perfect Love. So yeah, who am I in simple terms? I'm an entrepreneur and music artist. I help people and brands to discover who they are and also fulfill it. We help them to make sales as a sales strategist. I help them to make sales, come up with strategies tailored to their businesses that can improve their sales. And to me, I believe that personal branding is one of those things that are important. So quickly, what is personal branding? Personal branding have two components. The first component is the value people get from you and the principles that help to deliver those values. What do I mean by the value that people get from me? If you don't know the value you can give to people, meaning when people see you, do they get wisdom? When people see you, do they get ideas? When people see you, do they get strategies that can help them to make sales? When people see you, what can they get from you? What's that precious thing that they can get from you that they can't get elsewhere, that they have to pay you to get it from you? Yeah. And then what are the principles that help you to deliver that value? If people don't get something from you, they don't consider you valuable. It's not an insult, it's just the truth. Yeah, I was talking about before the technical issues happened, I was talking about the word hypocrite. That the word hypocrite is not an insult, it's just a way of saying that we don't know who you are. We don't know, we cannot attribute you to. It's okay for you to go through a phase whereby you are trying to find out who you are. I mean, that's okay. Identity, you're trying to find out who you are. It's fine it's fine going through that process, but then you still have to find who you are at the end of the day and develop principles that help to push who you are, help to push the value. So you can't be this person today and be another person tomorrow. At the end of the day, we won't understand your brand. We say your brand is confusing, but for someone like Dangote now, who has different products that is saying we know his brand is tied to one thing or produces many things. What is it tied to? It's tied to anything home. HOME. Dangote does anything that has to do with home. Yes, so having that understanding, you know what I mean by the word hypocrite. Now, and talking about the hypocrites is more about a personality test. To me, you can't say you're being honest and you claim to be honest and tomorrow you're lying. You claim to be a good person and tomorrow you're doing something else. We need to attribute your leadership to particular set of traits, if that makes sense. That's what I mean by the word hypocrite. Now, why is branding important? Branding is important because it is the new industry. Like you see here, it's a new industry. It helps you to make sales. It helps you to sell yourself easily. It's a new industry. I'll explain that shortly because now with the rise of AI, there are many things that AI can do. And how do you compete with AI when AI is bent on taking you out of the market? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying AI will replace you, but AI will replace you if you don't know how to brand yourself. or if you cannot tie your company to you. This is why personal branding is important, because we're entering an era where AI will be so much, so rampant that people will not want AI anymore. People will be hungry for what is not AI. I don't know if that makes sense to you. That would make sense not because AI is bad, but it will create a new industry for personal brands where the authentic you is what people will need. The authentic you is what people will look for. And it is important for you to go through every single phase you can go through now to build that personal brand, if that makes sense. So it's a new industry that you need to tap into, because there'll be many fake you out there very soon. And how can you bring your uniqueness to the world that they will say, oh, if it's if Azariah is not this, then it is not Azariah. The Azariah I know is this. The product I know about Azariah is this. It tied Brandwise and Azariah are one. Brandwise and Azariah Olanrewaju are one. Azariah Olanrewaju is a musician. I know that about him. It does not mean he's an hypocrite. It just means he's an entrepreneur that does different things. And this is his journey. He has overcome suicide. He has overcome this. He has overcome that for him to be this. This is how he dresses. This is everything about him. And all these things tie to your personal brand. And they cannot separate you, your principles, from your value, because your value and you are one. Yeah. Now, moving on to the next one is finding your voice. When you find the value you give to people, you find your voice, because the value that people get from you is what speaks for you. That is the impression that people have of you that can bless people, whether you are there or you're not. By the time they see this or they hear your name, that's what they attribute it to the value. And when people don't seem to understand you, seem to respond to you, is basically because of, I believe, two things. Is either you're not speaking loud enough, you've not understood your value. Like I said, this is not, or rather, this particular presentation is not something that is more of a quick overview of what personal branding is. It's so much that we can dwell on one topic forever. Okay, but because of the interview, we had to make it as short as possible, as impactful as possible, to bring things to the light that people can be blessed by. So is it that you're not speaking loud enough, or you are not in the right space, meaning you're not facing the right audience? So how do you find it? Now leads us to the question of how do you find your voice? There are different ways for you to find your voice. You find your voice by understanding your pain, the pain you've overcome. I can talk to people who are experiencing suicide now because I have experienced suicide. I can talk to people who have disability because I have a disability that has sort of, I've gone through that phase, and that phase are not things that destroyed me alone, but have helped to build my personal brand. Yeah. So it's not something that you should be afraid of, or it's just something you should accept and move on. Use it to build who you are and then help other people. You have now found a voice, you found a value you can give to other people that gives you your uniqueness. You can find your voice by the people you attract. The more you do these things, there are a particular set of people that will come to you. That is how you will know who what your voice is, what the value you can give to them is, because of what they will tell you, the impact you're having in their lives. Yeah. And the last thing is what your natural talents can solve. Like I said, is a lot of things to deal with. And this is more of what just to hit the nail on the head. And so we can make impact as much as we can within this short period of this short presentation. Yeah. So that brings us now to how do you find your audience? You can find your audience. There are two methods for you to find your audience. You find your audience by speaking. You know, I said it the other time that your audience will come to you, they'll be attracted to you. So when you're speaking, the audience will come to you. But the question is, what do you do during that process? There's a process of testing. This is you talking, you speaking often, and then you pay attention to the people that are coming to you. You pay attention to what people say to you, to what people, the result that people say you give to them, and then you focus on refining yourself. You keep refining what the value is that you give to those people. You keep refining, and then more of those your audience will come to you. That's how you find your audience. You attract them, and the other way by which you find your audience, the audience will always be who you were and who you currently are. Precious and I discussed more about this, so just wait for that aspect in the video. How do you connect to your audience? To me, I believe that there is always going to be a common ground. Remember, I said that your audience are who you were and who you currently are. You understand? My audience will be people that I speak to based on what I've survived. People I speak to based on, for example, those that are looking for their purpose will be my audience because I can help them to find what their natural talents are, where life will push them to actually fulfill things. They don't even know they have it within them. But my job is to help you discover it and help you fulfill it. My job is to know what's not working in your business and help you to fix it. Yeah, so you can find a common ground with people. It can be the dressing, it can be the language, it can be the accent, it can be your faith, different things. These are just one of those few things, but you must have a common ground with them. And when people cannot identify themselves with you anymore, they will leave you. Precious was given an example about Jaguar. You would really love that example. Look forward to listen to it. Yes, making the right impression. I believe that when you understand these three things, you would make the right impression. Remember, our definition of personal branding is the impression that people have of you based on how you present one, the value that you give to them, and the principles that help to deliver those values. So the three components of making the right impression is number one, the value you add to others. You have to know the value you add to others. You have to know the process by which you deliver the value, and you have to know the audience. Now, when you want to make the right impression, you have to know these three things. When you know these three things, you will make the right impression. You can write this thing down. I would like to say, I help dash achieve dash using dash. This is the audience I help. This is what I help them to achieve, and this is the process by which I help them achieve it. So my name is Azariah Olanrewaju, and I am a sales strategist. I help brands make sales by discovering what is not working in their businesses and fixing it for them. Do you understand that now? My name is Azariah Olanrewaju, and I'm a sales strategist. I help brands, entrepreneurs discover what's not working in their businesses and fix them. You get that? Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. Like I said, it's a quick one. You can follow us on our social media, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you have any questions, you can just send it to us at consultnow@brandwiseconsultancy.com. Yeah, we offer free advice, so I'll give it to you. So let's jump straight to the interview with Precious Emehelu. Let me finish this explanation. I was telling them about hypocrite. How the word hypocrite doesn't mean an insult. It just means having no particular personality at all. You're not, today you are a good person, tomorrow you are a thief, next tomorrow you are a politician, the next day you're a lawyer. Literally don't have a particular thing that someone can attribute you to, no face. And that's how many leaders are. Today they promise you one thing, to the next day they do another thing, which is not good for branding. So can I hear your take on that? Let's start from there.
Um, in the branding space, I don't think we make use of the word hypocrite. If you ask me, um, I would say it's make believe. But like I would always say, branding is like a journey. When you're moving from this place to this very point and then to the future. So at every given stage, your like your disposition is changing. Your aim is being refined. So why it may look as though you're faking, you are actually not faking. You're just probably trying to come to terms with where you are right now as a person, and where you are looking forward to going. Because, like I said, something, the human creation is such a peculiar being that it's never limited, it's never binded, it's consistently exploring. So yeah, that's what I think.
Uh, that's not wrong. That's actually very right. What I was saying in particular before you came on board, so that you get the context of what I mean. I was just
Okay.
telling them that if someone, if they can't attribute you to one particular thing, you're always fluctuating. You're always fluctuating. You're not straight on who you are, because for me, personal branding is about the impression you're able to leave on people, how people see you based on the value you can offer to them, and also the principles that help to deliver those values. So I was talking about the personality, the principles that help to deliver those value, the value that you can offer to people. I was telling them that if people don't have something they can get from you, it's not an insult. They actually will not listen to you. But when they know you
Absolutely.
have something to add to them, then they listen to you. And then I was saying that you can't tell me that your personal branding is having honesty as as a trait, and the next day you're lying, or lack of confidence, and the next day you're acting like who you're not. So that's the aspect. I mean, what you're saying is not wrong. But I was just trying to say, I was talking about the aspect of being inconsistent, which is not good for personalities. You grab that, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. I think I have a better context to what what you're saying. And yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, it's for me that have been long enough in the space. You understand that branding is quite very much relative. Depend on, like I said, where you're standing. Maybe today you're believing, I want to stand on truth, and maybe something influences that belief, that identity, and the next day you just decide you want to do the opposite. So, um, could could it go back to the initial absolute? Could it be transitioning or transactional? Yeah, sure it can.
Absolutely, absolutely. That works very well, and I totally get that. So I don't want to really boil them out. I want this to be very explicit. How would you say you present yourself? Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Um, my name is Azariah Olanrewaju, and this is who I am. This is what I do. How do you think you can present yourself? Like I hear this a lot, that if you can't say who you are in one line, that you don't know who you are yet.
And the beautiful thing is, when it comes to branding, um, before one even begins to talk about branding, you have to first talk about identity. You can't talk about
Exactly.
branding without identity.
That
And
was why,
identity changes over time. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. Identity, the identity choice changes over time. There was a time where people see me like, especially people like me, that is quite very disruptive consistently. There's a perception people had about me like 3, 4 years ago, and then the next time you're meeting me, it has changed. There was a time where I wasn't really on dreads. Let me say 6, 7 years backward, I had a particular style I was known for, and then the next time you're meeting me, we don't know this part. Well, I've never known this part. It has always been there. Do you understand? That's where I am coming from. So it's very possible to introduce yourself in some manner and then it changes again. So yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying, but yeah, that is it.
I grab that. That's talking about you're more oriented right now about how the building aspect, and this is actually one of the things on my slide. I would actually do another video where I'm going to share on that slide so that maybe when people get to listen to this, not maybe, when people get to listen to this, what you're saying will actually make a lot of sense to them. Because to me, when you're talking about identity and building a brand, you have to know first who you are. You have to know the value you add to people, and you have to know the process about that value.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't know these three things, you actually don't even know how to present yourself to anyone. And then
Sure.
someone like Donald Trump, who has a lot of influence, believe me, he doesn't have an influence because he's confident. He doesn't have influence because he is a president. No, he has influence because he knows who he is, and he doesn't give a hoot what people think about him. Now, what I mean by that is he knows the value he has to give to people. Apart from the fact that he's the president of the United States of America, he is a businessman. And many people don't know these things about him. The huge difference between him and Kamala Harris is he knows his audience. And the more you know your audience, the more you're able to understand them. So talking about dress, I want to tie it to the dress that you're talking about. There's a part of my slide that says that for you to connect with your audience, you have to understand your audience. You know your audience. You know you are not, as an entrepreneur, there's something entrepreneurs have in common. They break grounds. They they come up with new things. They're innovative. So if you're less innovative as an entrepreneur, maybe that's not your journey or you've not pushed yourself enough. In your space, I'm very sure not everyone would actually appreciate dreads because I don't even like calling it dreads. I like calling it locks. Simple as possible, simple as that. Locks for me because it's better than the word dreads. You get, because the reason why it's called dreads is the way the white people painted it to us back then, because it looked very dreadful. So the word dread is called the word dreadful. So for me, I just prefer calling it locks as my perspective. So yeah, tying it down to what you said about identity. If you don't know who you are, you don't know your audience, you don't know the value you have to offer, presenting yourself would be very off. So to my next question is, according to you and your journey so far, what do you think is the best way to present yourself to people? Wow, network. Mm. Okay, just before she comes back, let me put this out there that when you want to connect to your audience, you always have to have a common ground with them. You can't tell me you're into spoken word now, and you don't even know what the spoken word society needs from you, or you don't know how to connect the spoken word society. Or let's just say let's talk about religion now. Let's say you're a public servant and you don't know the culture of the people within your space. If the people within your space are, let's say, Gen Z, now what do you understand about Gen Z? What do you understand about that generation? I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to you. What do you understand about the generation? What do you know they like? What do you think you can do that would make them see you and say, wow, I like this person? That's why I was talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump knew his audience, and people thought that the LGBTQ are the influencers of the American society. But no, that's not true. The real influencers of the American society are those who are, there's a word for them. They are free thinkers. They're open-minded people. They're progressive. And the word progressive here does not mean LGBTQ per se. And this is not me trying to, what do they say that thing is now? There's a word for it. I'm trying to put them in a box or something. No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying that Donald Trump knew his audience. There were more conservatives, people that have conservative beliefs in America than conservative people that have progressive in nature. Do you understand what I mean? They are developing, they are growing. Those are people I'm talking about. I'm not, when I say progressive here, I'm not saying you're not standing in one spot and your belief system is not diverting to what you think is not ethical, or sorry, to what you think is unethical. So now Donald Trump, based on the kind of person he is, a groundbreaker, a businessman, someone that's good in negotiating, he knew his audience, and he knew his audience were conservatives like him. So he was able to connect with those people. And if you get what he said throughout his campaign, he was saying something like, "Make America great again. Make America great again." So he knew he was connecting with. So when Kamala Harris was saying something about fighting for justice, fighting for this, connecting with those groups as sensitive and all that. He brought in, welcome, welcome back. He brought in, he focused more on the group that are conservative, that focus on bringing America back to life again. Yeah. So before you came, I was just telling them how Donald Trump was able to connect with his audience, talking about audience. I know. I don't know if you heard the question I asked before you left, before the network
What
took
was
you
the
away.
what was the question, please?
My question was based on how do you present yourself? How do you present your brand to people?
Um, how do I present myself? To be to be honest, I like to describe myself as someone who is very audacious. It's just one thing, and I think a lot of people have had to tell me the perceive, because sometimes you yourself, you can't tell yourself, others will tell you what they're saying. Um, I try to keep it. I'm a serial optimistic person. I don't believe in an impossibility. I believe that we can get it done, and it is possible. And even while maintaining at that, I like to be as authentic as I can be. And sadly, we're in a society where when you try to be as authentic as you can be perceived or interpreted differently. Some might see you rude, disrespectful, perceive. Some people might perceive you as too much, but yeah, I in one line, I like to present my brand as just do it now, not tomorrow, not next, not yesterday, not in the future, but now. And in doing it in the now comes with a lot of audacity, optimism, confidence, fearless, and lastly, disruptive. So yes, that's about it.
So do you think you need to do you think you need to understand your audience before you connect with them?
I think you need to understand yourself before you talk about an audience. Because
Okay.
if you try to understand the audience before you would always be in chaos. It's like the popular saying of saying trying to live for others. You should have first find be able to find who you are, what you represent, what you stand for, and this is what draw the people to you. Not you going to them to tell them, say, what do you think will make you people come to me? All you think I will do to attract you guys. Don't you see that even in the process of doing that, you the person already sounds like a clown. So it is you first, then others second.
Yeah, yeah, I get that part where you have to understand yourself. It's I mean, if it I believe that your audience are who you are and who you were. Because if you don't understand who you were and you don't understand who you are, you can't understand your audience. Because whoever we connect with, like they say, birds of the same feather flock together. For example, I I didn't know I had a thing for NGOs until I started listening to my mentor. And when I was listening to my mentor, I realized that my mentor and I had a lot of things in common. And one of those things we had in common was running an NGO. I don't know if that makes sense. So the thing is, I was able to connect with him because of what we have in common. So what I'm actually saying about the audience thing is, you're right, and I'm not negating you. I'm just trying to add to what he said about you knowing yourself first. And when you know yourself, when you know who you were before now and who you correctly are now, then you have an idea of who your audience is. I was talking about Locke's thing earlier, and I said that I said something like you have to have a common ground with your audience. I was now using Donald Trump as an example. That Donald Trump now he knew that his audience in America were people who were conservative yet progressive in nature, not just people who wanted their will to be done, like the LGBTQ group and all. While Kamala Harris was fighting for people like that, Donald Trump was saying one thing, he kept saying the same sentence, let's make America great again. Meaning he's trying to talk to the people who knew how great America was, and those people are more in America than those who care about their own personal agenda. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So he knew his audience, and that was the kind of person he was and he is. And then he attracted people that were thinking like him to vote for him. Do you get the concept of what I'm talking about now? So
Hmm.
yeah, so can I have your thoughts on that, please? I'm so
What is your
sorry it's
question?
long. No, it's not a question.
It's
Like,
quite long.
no, it's not a question. It's more of what's your perspective on that concept of having a common ground with your audience?
Like I said earlier, it is first you. People come to you because of who you are. People stay because of who you are. It's not the other way around. You've made so much emphasis about Donald Trump. People like Donald Trump because it's very unfiltered. I'm a fan of Donald Trump. He's very unfiltered. He has audacity. He says it as it is. Then there are other people who don't like him, especially those who are a big fan of the of democracy. would kick against it. That in especially the fact that I mean we are what kind of government we're practicing here is what everybody should have equity and the same rights, not somebody coming about and feeling like he's the beginning and the end. There are people like that, but they're not his audience. Your audience is a reflection of who you are. Do you understand? People come for you because of you. People stay because of the very first conviction of what they had when they met you. The moment you change from that, they leave. Just like what happened to Jaguar. Jaguar went to change it was trying to people that were a big fan or that patronized Jaguar from the 90s loves the vintage, the audacity, the old feel it gives. But Jaguar was trying to do this thing you are saying. My crowd, my audience, which is the Gen Z, um, the Gen Z, the Gen Z, the Alpha. They were trying to put them in view, and guess what? Their sales dropped from about 80 something percent to 23%. That's a massive failure. Why? People started leaving because they were like, "This is not the Jaguar they knew." It has become something else. Right now, Jaguar is in a place where they're trying to recuperate and get back trust. It was a total mess. So people come to you for you, not the other way around. People stay. So the more you improve on yourself, on your personal brand, the quality, the content, what you are giving them, the more you amplify that very test that they came encounter with, the more they stay. The moment you ever shift from that, they will tell you bye bye. We're going. We don't know you. It's like me now. A lot of people are drawn to me due to um most for my faith, my stand, um my belief, my vision, all of that. If I come out tomorrow and say I don't believe in Jesus anymore, I want to be a free thinker. I I don't believe that the African creative space have what it takes. Trust me, 90, not even 99% is leaving me because they don't know this, they cannot identify with this, so they're out with you. So it will always be about you to the audience, not the audience to you. If I thought it would be from the audience to you, it's maybe things that they needed to that they are pointing that you can amplify or make it better for them to have a greater experience. But it should never shift from the initial. The moment it does, is a goodbye. You are heading for a major crash. So yes, that's it.
Okay, so yeah, that's a beautiful one. And while you were talking, some things were coming to my mind. I was just flowing. And yes, this will be like my last question so that we can wrap it up quickly and let people go. Do you think that can I make two questions my last questions, please?
Please feel free. It's fine.
Okay. My first last question is what were the things you went through that made you who you are now?
A lot though. Yeah, I went through a lot. A lot went through me,
Okay.
and I went through a lot together. Uh, at first, for someone who lived quite, I think I lived a large part of my early youth age and teenage trying to please. I would say I was someone who was once a people pleaser. You know, trying to
Mm.
accommodate people, trying to fit in, even in places that deep down I don't like the fact that I'm here, but because um, trying to get a validation from this person, what they think, how they think, it
Mhm.
pushed me to different valleys, depression, suicide. There was a time I even hated me. I don't like looking at myself at the mirror because anytime I look at myself, I'm like, I'll be like, oh, you're ugly. Oh. Ah, wow. And I'm not even the typical, permit me to use the word female, the typical female. How people, there's a God defined definition of a female, and there's a people definition of a female. So I'm not even the typical female person, or even though I still have my very strong female futures, maybe in terms of appearance, I'm what the society call a tomboy. It was a problem for me because I'm surrounded by very beautiful women, beautiful, amazing women, from my mom to my cousins. So seeing them, how they move, they dress, and me, it's like everybody's coming in group, and then when you see me, it's so obvious from afar. From afar, you're like, we can pick this person out. And it was a struggle. I struggled with it, and everybody from my family, they are very fashionable. They light up. They are colorful, and here I am. I'm still dealing with the fact that I'm not colorful with them. I'm not tilting towards black. Everything about me is black. So you're almost now wondering what kind of black sheep is this in the home that we don't even understand. So, and then because of the people, the value culture in Africa, it even made it harder for me. But there is this belief that I have that there is a limit to where you can push everybody to. I got to that limit, that edge of that crossroad of deciding, do I want to do this about people for the rest of my life? Or do I want to come to terms that this is precious? I have to pick one. And it's a place where a lot of people have like have gone down the drain. They have lost themselves. That's why sometimes you see somebody and you're not wondering what happened to you. How did you move from being? We understand we pushed you to this place to being. Even you yourself cannot believe who you are. How much more we believe in to accept you? So I got to that point, and I'm like, and that crossroad for me was in 2018,
Okay.
and I'm like, do you know what? I'm tired. I have to come to terms with who is precious. And of course, there is no identity that will not be tested and challenged. But the one who is true will will pass through the test of time. And I I I I just concluded that I'm not sorry, but the closer you are, because I don't know, based on faith, I don't know people here. I'm a Jesus person, so you have to. I'm not saying I'm a extremist or a religious what do they call it? It's just what it is. I needed it took a Jesus and a a me to come to terms with. Do you know what? Me, I'm a very easygoing person. For one, if I have to try to do too much, I'm already not. It is not really precious. Let me give you a context. Like every other person in my life, the women in my life, 2 days. I always watch how my mom just she has. My mom has about three wardrobe, like three. No, is it one, two, three? I think three or four, and she never knows what to wear. So seeing that life, I did not admire it. I'm always constantly clueless of what to wear, and you keep buying and buying and buying. So I already defined my life that if this is what you people call being a female, I count me out. I'm out of that conversation. I don't intend to go back to it. I like, keeping my life very simple, straightforward, like very calculative. What the society call the men's world. Move from year to year to year, because internally I'm already complex. I cannot make out here too complex than that. So that was what it took me to get to where I am today. And I'm happy. I tell people that a lot of people don't know that my even down to my because I did a 360-degree branding, down to my outfit is branded. I have a particular
Mm.
way I dress. I don't dress outside that. So I tell people that, to honest, really, the reason why I choose dressing like this is comfort too, easy to wear. I don't have to. I just call my stylist.
Yes.
How many are we making this month? 7. How much? Send. I pay. They deliver. I just go to the wardrobe. I pick that set. I don't have to go through the sight of what I saw my mom going through. Sometimes she would just say, she will ransack everywhere. And I've seen options. And she's like, nah. This one, she wore it, 2 months ago. If you see it again on me, I say I don't have clothes. Let's check another one. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going through this. And then seeing how my cousin, when we are running for event, my cousin say, she's trying to make up, and it's taking her over 2 hours. What are you? This one has to dry, this one has to blend. I'm like, it was almost giving. I think between me and you people, I think you people are the one that even have the self-esteem issues, not even me. The constant. So I just can we just get out of the way? So yeah, everyone will eventually get to that road,
Yeah,
after going through that dream. Yeah.
yeah, so for me, there are a lot of things that life pushes to us that gives us that builds our personal branding. Question is how many of us are willing to accept it? You know, for example, you said something like the you felt different, you felt strange, and that people were putting you, were making you feel, oh, you're not standing, you don't look like the regular woman. Anyway, so the thing is, I believe that was like life telling you, or let me say, that was God telling you that you're different, because, and it was more of a blessing than a curse. If it's more of a blessing, it simply means that, okay, there are like 5 things that people remember. Yeah, I'll put it this way for so that people understand. There are 5 things people remember easily, and one of those things is being strange. Now, if you're strange, or not necessarily in a scary way, you understand what I'm trying to say? If you're strange, it just means you're interesting. Who is this person? Because if you put 5 women here wearing pink, if one is wearing blue, be like, your eyes will focus on the blue, because that's different. Like, wow, why is she wearing blue? Why is she different? Do you understand? That makes you, that gives you this sort of attraction. So I really don't, I think the issue back then for you was just, which is actually for every single person, including me, myself, including I myself and other, is we go through this situation where we don't know that God is actually building our personal brands. Like basics of our personal brand is that we go through a situation where we feel different from people. But the main thing for us to do is just to accept it and realize how beautiful we'll be after that. Like you said, suicide. How did you overcome the suicide thing that you mentioned?
Ah, it you see that suicide thing. I remember the first day I ever attempted suicide. The person that even saved me that day was my brother. That's why I said it is first you, then the audience, then you. It is never the audience, then you. If not, you are gone. That's why today we have a lot of make believe people living under pressure and depression because you're trying to meet up with the demands. I remember the day I made a post, a very cryptic post on WhatsApp trying to end it all. That day I took my shower. I was in Lagos and I made a carrot juice and I dropped it. I was tired and I made this post and I just said that, you know what, I'm done. Everybody on my status was viewing that goodbye message except my brother. And then he called me and then he said, I saw the post on your status. It's disturbing. Are you okay? Are you fine? I said, I'm tired. Then the
Mm,
next thing he went on to say is, okay, since you decide to go, let me tell you how I feel about you. And this guy went on to tell me how I inspire him, how I blow his mind, how um when he sees me, he poured his heart. When he was done, he said,
mm,
I can go now. My conscience is clear. I shall know I told you how I felt about you. So when they bury you, me, I will not cry. I shall tell her how I felt, And that moment was a changed the game for me, literally. And I'm like, so there is somebody that looks up to me like this, in this capacity. Ha! No,
Mm. Okay.
we're not going anywhere. Me, I'm here. Yeah, I can't lose one destiny like this that is looking up to me like this. We stay here, even if I don't have any reason. That person's conviction has given me a reason to stay, and then giving me that giving me that reason has also helped me. It pushed me into coming to a place of what will I use the
Acceptance.
word now? Yes, that well, the world will be fine. Just like my role model, President Washington, will say, "Who cares? You'll be fine." My father in faith will say, "They will adjust. People will adjust. I promise you." Um, uh, People will definitely adjust. That's the truth. No matter how bad it is. Look at now. Look at. Let me give you an example. The world was dragging Michael Jackson. Immediately he died, he became the lover of everybody. Madness. Oh, we love him. The same people that was calling him a pedophile. It is the same people that said, we did not know he's like this. So, he was speaking of, he was talking. That's why I say humans are such an interesting being. If you go with them, you will lose yourself. So you must come to truly. So for me, I came to that place of accepting me. And the moment I accepted me, there is nothing you want to tell me today that will move me or that will make me want to shrink. You know why? There is one person that has seen me and many more that I don't even know about.
Yes, sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was Wi-Fi. It's literally, I don't know, just left. So you were saying something. What was the last thing you said?
Um, so people will be fine. That's all I can say. They will do fine. Actually,
Yeah,
you
okay.
must come to a place where you accept yourself and you move on from there.
All right. That reminds me, many people don't know this thing about me because I don't like saying it. Not because it's bad. I just feel I literally feel at that time it was unnecessary. But then I realized recently that it's very necessary. Is suicide. I've also thought about suicide. I think at some point, literally everyone that is a groundbreaker must have thought about suicide because it takes a lot to actually break grounds. Now, if there's anything that I know happened during my own rehabilitation period that made me to think less of suicide was acceptance. I learned to accept myself. I learned see to see the good in me than the bad. And I also learned to realize that a lot of people depend on my being alive, meaning I became less self-centered and more people-oriented, more of service. Because I feel if you look beyond yourself and look to the fact that a lot of people around you are waiting on you to inspire them, whether you know it or not, there are people around you that look up to you. And I realized that if I had done something bad to myself, a lot of people, I'll break their hearts and I wouldn't even help those I'm meant to help. Recently, this is not to praise myself. I did something to a community of people, and I cannot imagine that I can't imagine the results. I mean, thinking about it now, if I had gone when I wanted to go, would they have experienced what they want to experience now? They wouldn't have experienced it because It's either, I mean, they would have experienced it, but it won't be through me. God probably or most likely involved someone else to do it. So I believe, yeah, for someone out there that you're struggling with suicide, the first thing you need to do is to accept who you are, because there's always someone out there that is worse off than you think. And then secondly, realize that killing yourself is just, this might be harsh, because but I'm not harsh to you, I was harsh to myself as well. I've always been very blunt to myself, so I'll be blunt with you. Be less self-centered. Stop thinking about yourself and think about those people around you that you can actually be of a blessing to. Yeah, that's about that. I pray for such a person that God will actually intervene in the person's life, whoever that person is that will end up listening to this webinar or podcast, or call it, and this will be a blessing to them. So, my last question: everything that you've done so far, what do you think has been the game changer for you in your personal brand? Because I want people to go back holding on to something, you know, on how to sell themselves without stress. So what do you think has been that game changer for you that made you sell yourself without stress?
My passion. I love this thing that I do. I love it to die. I love it. I love it to the point that
Mm.
it has to be this thing. I remember when I had an opportunity to work in CBN, I turned it down. My mom thought I was crazy. Precious, this creative thing you are saying, don't you think you need money to start it? No, my brother, you are in the picture of my life, so you have an idea of what I'm saying. I didn't know. If I do 9 to 5, I will be frustrated. I will be depressed. If all I do is wake up, go to work, press laptop, move around, come back, sleep, wake up. Hey, I will wake up one day, they will not see me in work. They will not see me come to work. They'll be wondering what happened. I move on. Oh, me, I've left people. So to save them that time, that resources, let me kukuma go through it once. So I love this part of my life. I love that I am doing this in the high, in the high of the highest, in the low of the lowest. I will choose doing this. So, and that has been one of the things that has drawn a lot of people, from followers to mentees to clients. I love this thing I do. You can literally feel it. And if it's possible, you can even touch it. I'm too convinced that about my passion. And this passion is not just the acquired to perspire motivational kind of passion. No, no, please, it's not that one. Because I've seen
Mm.
how that has really misled people. This one, I don't know how to. I'm trying so hard not to sound like I am preaching, you know. But it's a different kind of passion. Actually, it's a different. I mean, that's the only reason why I am here right now, doing this, saying this with you. It's passion.
Mm.
Even when I had called you or called the team when I was having network issue, I was complaining. It is passion. I love this thing so much. So it is the selling point for me has been my passion for this purpose actually.
Okay, so thank you very much. I mean, we'll have a lot of things to say, but I have an appointment that I have to meet up with, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Samuel. I mean, this guy deserves an accolade. I don't know. Obviously, I think the person is a male because it's Samuel. Obviously, so they can't name a woman Samuel. So I want to thank him for staying to the end. From the technical issue to literally, it was just, at first I thought it was just going to be a mess. But well, thank God it's not a mess. And a part of this will go to our YouTube channel, and I would, like I said, I'll record a different part and merge it together and post it online where people can learn for my slides that I was meant to present. And the next time we won't be having this kind of issue. So thank you very much, Mr. Summer, for staying to the end. And thank you, Precious, for answering our call to be interviewed by us. So basically, let me just put it out there. Basically, this webinar will be having different people just like you, more like entrepreneurs who invite come on board to talk about themselves. And after the first part of the agenda is to make a presentation. And then the second part is the interview. So basically, maybe between the first 30 minutes, I can just talk about a particular topic that will help people change their lives, change their businesses, transform them. And then the next part is let's hear from a real life person. What do you think about what I've been sharing? Yeah. So thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the webinar, the event. And I really appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Any last words before we
Yeah.
close?
Just do it. Don't think about it. If you think about it, you won't do it. If you think too much, you'll miss it. So no matter how crazy you can get, just do it. Just make sure that whatever you are doing, don't say it was me that said you should go to the bank or do something like that's not the one I'm talking about. I did not say go and do that one. But do it, but most importantly, do it now. In
Yeah.
seconds is too late. It has to be now. Thank you so much, Brandwise, for having me. And I'm looking forward to more opportunities of coming to your platform again and again.
Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right. See you guys next time. And please stay tuned for more
Yeah.
contents like this. Yeah. Bye. Cheers.